opening statement, and then we will go into questions. Raise your hand, and I will call on you. Coach?
Hey, appreciate our fans showing up early. Ball walk was awesome. Great start to the football game. Played well early in both phases and special teams, and then obviously third quarter, end of the second quarter, there's some things that we didn't operate as efficiently as we needed to. Got to be better than that as we continue to go, but again, finished strong. Love the effort. We got to be a little bit smarter in some of the unique things that transpired during the course of the ball game for sure. So open it up.
Start with Adam in the front.
Josh, what do you think it does for the confidence of the offense that they experience some success, especially in that first half?
Yeah, the first half starting fast, being efficient, blocking well, big runs. Joe obviously starts the game with a huge play off of his read key, and then we're efficient in the pass game too. So I also said, in the locker room later tonight, like it's a fine line, right? And so it's again a reminder for the competitive edge that you got to have and continue to keep during the course of a ball game too.
Austin.
I think Joe started something like 14 and 16, and then kind of missed about 10 in a row. How much of that was him? How much of that was receivers?
A couple of them are him. There's a couple deep balls were a little bit off. Wide receivers being in sync on some of their route patterns too, in the middle of the field. So it's a combination of all those things in the middle that didn't let us operate as efficiently as we needed to be.
What do you have to do to avoid that kind of lull on offense next week?
Yeah, you got to block well up front. You got to give the quarterback time. You got to go win one-on-ones. Quarterback's got to be accurate with the ball. And I know that sounds redundant a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's what we got to do. So the efficiency in the run game in the middle part of the game too was a part of it. All of it's got to play together.
Ben, then Rob.
Josh, just what was Dylan doing well, and what did you see from him over the course of this week, responding from not being able to play last week to this week?
Dylan's been the same guy on the practice field, been a good leader in the locker room, competitive, willing to do whatever to help the team. When he has the ball in his hands, he's done a good job of reading it, delivering blocks. Made a backdoor cut tonight as flow over the top happens. Been really efficient in what he's done. So going to need him as we continue to go too.
Coach, you guys played plenty guys early on defense, especially.
Yeah.
Was that the plan? And do you have that many people that are pushing to get into the
It was the plan. I told you guys last week, I don't remember, or this past week, the flow of the football game a week ago, the way it transpired, we had, planned on rotating more than we did. That can be on coaches, the situation, whatever. Listen, you're going to be physical football games as you go. You're going to continue to need to play, a lot of guys, and guys that have the hot hand at whatever position, will be the guys there in the critical moments as the game goes on. But anticipate, again, playing more guys than we did a week ago.
Brent and Mike.
What you said this week about guys putting a play behind them, a good play or a bad play behind them.
Yeah.
How did you do with that today? Was any of that lull compounding plays where they didn't put a play behind them? Or how do you think you handled that this week compared to last?
I think the lull is a combination of efficiency, effectiveness, and what we're doing. Structural, a little bit of change from them. Us countering that a little bit better in our targets, in particular in the run game. I felt like a little bit it affected one play to the next in a little bit of that lull, but I also thought they were able to reset and come back and make some plays. So.
Josh, after 4 games with Joe, what are the things that you're going to get out of him each game, and what are those things that you're still a bit unsure of during the game?
Yeah, I want him to continue to make plays. He's going to have to use his feet. You saw it tonight in the run game as we go. In our drop back pass game, he's going to have to work the pocket, climb the pocket, escape, make plays with his feet, extend, make plays with his arm. That'll be critical as we continue to go. Need him to take great care of the football, and there's still a level of efficiency that we can get to in our passing game, and I'm saying that's Joe, it's our wideouts, it's our tight ends, it's all that together that we can take another jump.
Patrick.
Josh, how was it to see Caleb Webb step up, step up Brew, make a
Good
play?
to see Caleb Webb make a play. Chad's got some playing time. 2 young guys that got to continue to grow. At some point, just like tonight, you inevitably need those guys, and so it was good to see them out there and handle the situation well. Caleb Webb, obviously, the big touchdown catch too, so that was awesome to see for him.
Can you just update where you are with Cooper?
Yeah, we'll see next week. End of the day, he didn't feel like he was ready for this one, so hopefully we'll have him back.
Can you assess how the line did in his absence again?
Some efficiency, in particular early in the run game, later in the football game too. The pocket was clean for the most part early, and then it got in the middle part of the game a little bit muddy right there, so we can be better.
Eric, then Austin.
No, it's early, but a couple guys got banged up. Some didn't come back in the football game. Do you have any statuses on those?
Yeah, we had multiple guys. Feel like we should have most of those guys back here next week. I'll know more here, tomorrow as you come back in the building. So.
Yeah.
Ben.
Josh, obviously a lot was made up from missed tackles at Florida last weekend. What did you think of the tackling efforts today?
Yeah, for the most part good. There were still a couple opportunities where we overran things, just our target playing inside out on some things. But I thought, defensively, line of scrimmage, applying pressure to the quarterback, tackling for the most part, besides the lull in the third quarter, all pretty solid.
Patrick.
Coach, a couple of special teams plays. You had the block punt and Cam tries to go over and pick it up. What was that teaching moment like for him? And then the fake punt, did you guys kind of expect that?
Yeah, it's a teaching moment that we don't want to have. We go through a lot of scenarios and situations, and obviously a young guy just made a mistake, and hate that for him. He's playing with great effort. He's continuing to grow. I believe he's going to be a really good player for us. So, but hate that it changed the momentum in that first quarter. You look at where the ball is going to be. I think it's 14-0 at that point. Got a chance to, push it to 21-0 there early in the first quarter. And, there's just a couple of unique things that transpire that change the way the game's played, and you can't do that as a football team. And so we got to continue to grow in that way. There was a second part to your question, maybe.
The fake punt, did you guys kind of sense that out? You guys made the play?
One, they've been aggressive on special teams throughout his history there over the last couple of years, and that's been on the kickoff, but also felt like in that situation, the score of the game, potentially. We didn't have our base defense out there, but those guys on our punt return team did a really good job of playing that out.
Brenton and West.
The zone read stuff with Joe, was that just more available this week? Was that something you guys pushed a little bit more for him this week? And in part two, did you notice any difference out of him mechanically after he tweaked, kind of banged up his knee a little bit there?
No, I don't think that was the issue in the pass game. Sometimes you keep reads on some of the edge reads. Sometimes you don't, based on the structure and how teams are playing it. We've had that in. He'll be a part of our quarterback run game, as we continue to go.
Josh, I guess one way or the other, after you lose the first game of the season, you probably learn a little bit more about your guys those next few days, that next week. What you learn about your guys the past 7 days?
Yeah, you don't want to have to learn about them that way. I think we learned a lot about our football team in the second half of last week's game too. And I say that resilient, tough, competitive, willing to go out and compete. They did that today too. They had a really good week of practice. They came back. You could tell it hurt, and they came back and practiced well too. So this group's been pretty consistent in that. I expect that again as we continue to go.
Anything else? All right. Thank you. We'll have players shortly. Joe Milton, Dylan Sampson, Amari Thomas,